The House will come to order. Members, please take your seats. Head page.
The House is now in session. All persons not entitled to privileges of the floor, please retire to the galleries.
The members will rise and be led in prayer by Reverend Dr. Norwood G. Carson, pastor, Friendship Baptist Church, Hopewell, and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, which will be led by the delegate from Alexandria, Delegate Herring.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Let us posture ourselves for prayer as we prepare to lead this great commonwealth. Almighty God, creator and source of all wisdom, we gather today to seek your guidance upon this House of Delegates. During this session of the legislature, grant these delegates the clarity of thought, the strength of conviction, and the compassion of heart needed to serve the people well. In times of debate, foster a spirit of mutual respect and understanding, and in times of decision, guide them towards solutions that promote the common good, justice, and prosperity for all. Help them to be wise stewards of the resources entrusted to them, mindful of the vulnerable and dedicated to the high calling of public service. May their work today strengthen our community and uphold the values of liberty and justice, and place your blessings upon them, their families, and their work. Amen.
The members will answer the roll call by indicating their presence on the electronic voting board. Clerk will close the roll.
Mr. Speaker, a quorum is present.
Pursuant to House Rule 3, I've examined and approved the Journal of the House Delegates for March 5th, 2026. Motions and resolutions under Rule 39 pursuant to the provisions of Rule 40 are now in order. Does the clerk have any announcements or communication?
Yes, sir. Communication from the Senate. The Senate has insisted on its amendments and requested committees of conference on the following legislation: House Bills 118 and 1208.
The delegate from Alexandria, Delegate Herring.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the House accede to the request of the Senate for committees of conference on the previously reported legislation.
The delegate from Alexandria, Delegate Herring, moves that the House accede to the Senate's request for committees of conference on the following announced legislation. As many in favor of the motion will say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The motion is agreed to.
Another communication. The Senate has rejected the House amendments to the following legislation: Senate Bill 199, 253, Senate Bill 644, as well as Senate Bill 685.
Delegate from Alexandria, Delegate Herring.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the House insist on its amendments and request committees of conference on the previously reported legislation.
Delegate from Alexandria, Delegate Herring, moves that the House insist on its amendments and request committees of conference for the previously announced legislation. As many in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The motion is agreed to.
Mr. Speaker, members of the House, Speaker appoints on behalf of the House various conferees. For Senate Bill 94, the Speaker appoints on behalf of the House Delegates Thomas, Converse, Fowler, and Wyatt. Senate Bill 94, Delegates Thomas, Converse, Fowler, and Wyatt. For Senate Bill 324, the Speaker appoints Delegates Carr, Kriesik, and Davis. SB 324, Delegates Carr, Kriesik, and Davis. Companion legislation is House Bill 1046. For Senate Bill 358, the Speaker appoints Delegates Watts, Willett, and Walker. For the conference part of the House, Speaker appoints Delegates Watts, Willett, and Walker for Senate Bill 358. For Senate Bill 388, the Speaker appoints Delegates Cole, Fredericksburg, Helmer, and Moorfield. SB 388, Delegates Cole of Fredericksburg, Helmer, and Moorfield. Companion Senate legislation. Senate Bill 367 is the companion legislation, For Senate Bill 648, the Speaker appoints on behalf of the House Delegates McAuliffe, Reed, and Cherry. SB 648, Delegates McAuliffe, Reed, and Cherry. I simply would remind the body as well that the conference committee assignments that I just named and the ones I've done yesterday are now reflected on your member pages on LIS, so you can check that if you don't catch it all, so that's where you go look for it. Also remind the body again, today is the last day to be removed as co-patron. Those need to be in by 3 o'clock to the clerk's office here. And with that, pursuant to House Rule 40, Speaker requests to use request to speak button for the agenda items listed for reference up on the voting board.
Delegate from Chesterfield, Delegate Dowdy.
Mr. Speaker, I rise for an introduction.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today, I am honored to introduce Reverend Dr. Norwood Carson, who offered today's uplifting invocation. Dr. Carson is a devoted pastor, educator, and community servant whose ministry has been rooted in faith, service, and empowerment of others. He currently serves as the pastor of Friendship Baptist Church in Hopewell, Virginia, where he has faithfully guided and strengthened the congregation and the surrounding community's spiritual life. If you have the chance to join the church for service, be prepared to be blown away by the choir's joyful singing. Reverend Dr. Carson has dedicated his life to ministry, education, and humanitarian service, believing that the church must serve as a force for love, learning, and community uplift. His leadership has extended beyond the pulpit through mentoring as the executive director for the Tabernacle Divinity School, through education and community engagement that seeks to improve the lives of families and strengthen faith across generations. Throughout his career, Dr. Carson has been recognized for his impact in the faith community and has also served congregations across the region, where his pastoral leadership helped grow membership and develop church leadership. We are grateful for his presence today and for the powerful words of inspiration he shared with us. Please join me in thanking Reverend and Dr. Norwood Carson for his continued service, faith, and commitment to uplifting both the church and our community.
Welcome, Dr. Carson. Welcome to the Capitol today. The delegate for Buckingham, Delegate Garrett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for the purpose of an introduction.
Delegate has the floor.
Mr. Speaker, we're joined in the gallery today by present and future greatness, the Goochland Little League 8 Under All-Stars. I'd ask if they could please rise. Mr. Speaker, Goochland County and the 56th District, we try to do things big, and the Goochland Little League All-Stars outscored their opponents in the Virginia State Championship tournament by a combined total of 31 runs. I said present and future greatness, Mr. Speaker, because it's a little known fact that Justin Verlander, future Hall of Famer and soon to be honored and inducted into the Virginia Sports Hall of Fame, perhaps in these chambers, went to Goochland. And in fact, at one point in his career, Justin Verlander pitched to a Goochland catcher, John Hicks. So there is a history of greatness and a future of greatness in Goochland. It was embodied by these young men when they went to the DYB World Series and defeated teams from North Carolina, Tennessee, Florida, and Louisiana, finishing third place overall in the World Series tournament and earning the sportsmanship honor out of all the teams in the World Series. Mr. Speaker, I'm convinced that they could have won, but they took mercy on some of those people from the other states, hence finishing third. But Mr. Speaker, I would ask yourself and my colleagues to join me in giving these outstanding young men the warm welcome of the Virginia House of Delegates.
Outstanding, outstanding. Welcome to the Capitol today. Delegate from Richmond City, Delegate Carr.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for an introduction.
Delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you. Today, joining us in the chamber is Mr. Tom Kirkland, an independent licensed optician who owns and operates Tom Kirkland Opticians on 8th Street here in downtown Richmond. Tom is joined here in the back of the chamber by his wife, Kim, and upstairs in the gallery by his daughter, Lauren, his brother, Dave, and his sister, Susan Griffin. They're all here today. Ask them to please stand. Tom is celebrating 40 years in business this year, which, as a body, we commended with House Resolution 176. He learned through the old school the art of opticianry, hands-on apprenticing, before taking his boards to become licensed in 1978. With the dream to meet the community's eyewear needs, Tom sought to bring the hottest selection of designer eyewear and top-quality spectacle lens here to Richmond. Since the opening of Tom Kirkland Opticians in March 1986, Tom has served as president of the Opticians Association of Virginia and was voted by his peers for Optician of the Year in 2003. Countless opticians have interned under Tom while studying his craft at J. Sargent Reynolds Community College. He has also provided safety eyewear to surrounding state offices and private companies for many years. Tom has been the only local Cartier authorized eyewear dealer in Central Virginia for 33 years. Tom's personalized approach, experience fitting a wide range of diverse multicultural faces, and expertise in filling average to complex spectacle prescriptions has earned him loyal, lifelong customers. Many love the shop's family atmosphere, where they are greeted by either Tom, his sister, daughter, or wife when they walk in the front door. Others enjoy hearing Tom's personal stories, growing up in Petersburg, Virginia, with fond memories of playing basketball with the great Moses Malone, carrying papers for the Progress Index for 8 years and winning Paper Boy of the Year, training in karate under Grandmaster Hulan L. Willis Sr. Tom earned the title Kyoshi Kirkland, 8th degree black belt, and taught karate for 32 years at First Baptist Church and inner city communities, all free of charge. More recently, he was featured in the Tom Kirkland rap song, written and performed by a local Richmond artist, Monty Terrell. Tom's stories are endless, as is his love for people. Today, Tom continues to utilize the latest in optical machinery and lens technology, combining science with art to create functional, amazing eyewear. I hope the body will join me in giving him a warm house welcome.
Welcome to the Capitol today. The delegate from Warren County, Delegate Oates.
Mr. Speaker, I rise for a motion and an introduction.
The delegate has the floor.
I move the House take out of order H.R. 239 on page 67 from today's calendar.
Clerk will report a resolution.
House Joint Resolution number 239, commending the Skyline High School wrestling team.
Delegate from Warren County, Delegate Oates.
Mr. Speaker, I move adoption of the resolution, and I wish to speak to the resolution.
Delegate has the floor.
Mr. Speaker and members of the House, it is my honor to welcome to the gallery the Skyline High School wrestling team from Warren County. I would ask them to please stand. Mr. Speaker, I am so proud to share with the House that the Skyline Hawks are the Virginia High School League Class 3 state wrestling champions, not just for 26, but they won in 25, earning back-to-back titles. In 25, Skyline made history at the state championship in Lynchburg, defeating the runner-up by 39.5 points. That victory marked the first state championship in Skyline High School history and the first state title ever won by a boys team from Warren County Public Schools. 9 Skyline wrestlers placed at the state tournament, including 3 individual state champions. In 26, the Hawks return, this time as the team to beat, and once again dominated the field at the Salem Civic Center, winning their second consecutive state title by an incredible 68-point margin, with 7 wrestlers finishing in the top 4. Under the leadership of their coach, Kyle Simons, Skyline Wrestling has now won 7 consecutive district championships, 6 regional championships, and has had 2 wrestlers earn national rankings. I want to tell you, though, just as impressive, the team maintains a 3.8 GPA. 9 of those wrestlers carry a perfect 4.0, and many volunteer their time coaching youth wrestlers in the community. Over the past 2 seasons, 100% of our Skyline graduating wrestlers have pursued higher education, with 86% of them competing at the collegiate level. Mr. Speaker, As a delegate representing this community, I could not be more proud of these young men and women. There is a young woman up there who wrestles since it's Women's History Month. They represent the very best of Virginia through their excellence in athletics, academics, and character. One more thing, Mr. Speaker. They could not be outdone by Front Royal Little League, so this is yours. I know, it's great. Mr. Speaker, I ask the House to join me in recognizing the Skyline High School wrestling team for winning the Virginia High School League Class 3 state championships in 25 and 26. And I move passage of the resolution.
The delegate from Warren County, Delegate Oates, moves the House adopt House Joint Resolution number 239, commending the Skyline High School wrestling team. All those in favor will say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The motion is agreed to. Congratulations. Man, Coach, that's a disciplined team. They didn't even smile. They like, you got them, man. They ready to wrestle right now. Nobody smiled, man. All right, all right. The delegate from Suffolk County, Delegate Clark.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for introduction.
The delegate has the floor.
Mr. Speaker, in the gallery today, we have Nurse Shay Pugh of Windsor High School in Isle of Wight County, and I would ask for Nurse Pugh and her guests to please stand. There we go. Nurse Pugh was selected as the 2025 School Nurse of the Year by the Virginia Association of School Nurses for her leadership in student mental health support and cardiac emergency preparedness. She helped develop the mental health toolkit for school nurses after collaborating with the Virginia chapter of the American Academy of Pediatrics and Reach Crisis Service. And she has shared that work to help schools better respond to students in need. She also organized a trained cardiac response team at Windsor High School, helped the school earn the Heart Safe School designation from Project Adam, and in 2023, she earned national certification as a school nurse. Her compassion, preparation, and advocacy has made a lasting impact on the health and well-being of young people in Isle of Wight County. And I was so eager to commend her that we already passed her resolution, HR 75, a few weeks ago. So I can't wait to present it to you back in the district. And I hope it will be the will of the body to give her a warm house welcome.
Welcome, welcome to the Capitol today. Delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Delaney.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for a motion.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to take HJ 236 out of order and speaking to that motion.
Delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. HJ 236 commends Joanne Perry Maxwell for her service to the Commonwealth. And she and her party are in the gallery, so I would ask her to please rise. Joanne has served our Commonwealth for 2.5 decades through her public service as an employee of multiple state agencies, most recently as Director of Governance and Legislative Affairs for the Virginia Department of Transportation. She worked tirelessly on every assignment, earning the admiration and respect of her peers at every office, agency, and departments that she was assigned to. I hope it is the will of the body to congratulate Joanne Maxwell for cultivating a reputation of reliable, trusted, thorough, insightful advocate for the Commonwealth and for the strong working relationships she forged with members here with our staff and here at the General Assembly, and renew my motion to adopt this resolution.
Delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Delaney, moves that the House adopt House Joint Resolution number 236, commending Joanne Perry Maxwell. All those in favor will say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The motion is agreed to. Congratulations. Delegate from Suffolk, Delegate Clark.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for an introduction.
Delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members of the House. It is my privilege to recognize Suffolk Public Schools. If they could please rise. Suffolk Public Schools is a division serving nearly 14,000 students and guided by a vision to strive for excellence in education, celebrate diversity, and remain committed to the entire school community. At the heart of this work, the students themselves, a talented community of learners who bring curiosity, creativity, and determination into their classrooms every day. Suffolk Public Schools encourages students to grow academically, socially, and emotionally while discovering their unique strengths and interests. Today, these students are here to observe democracy in action at the General Assembly. This visit provides them with a first-hand opportunity to deepen their understanding of how our state government works for the people of Virginia. Being present in this historic institution allows them to connect classroom learning to real-world governance and to better appreciate the principles upon which our state was founded. Through engaging instruction, enriching extracurricular activities, leadership opportunities, and supportive services, students are empowered to become confident thinkers, responsible citizens, and future-ready graduates. We have students from Lakeland, Kings Fork, and Nasman River who I share with Delegate Carnegie as well, and I hope it would be the pleasure of the body to give them a warm house welcome.
Welcome to the Capitol today. The delegate from Chesterfield, Delegate Doherty.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for an introduction.
The delegate has the floor.
Mr. Speaker, will our guests from Elizabeth Davis Middle School please rise? These outstanding students represent the Elizabeth Davis Middle School chapter of the National Junior Honor Society, an organization built upon the pillars of scholarship, service, leadership, and character. Membership in this organization is a significant achievement. Students must maintain at least a 3.8 grade point average to even be invited to apply. And from approximately 100 eligible students, only the top candidates were selected. These students demonstrate a remarkable commitment to both their school and our community. Each member contributes hours of community service monthly, and together they have led meaningful initiatives that benefit others. Recently, they collected more than 500 pounds of food during their holiday food drive, supporting families in need, and they also wrote Valentine's Day cards for senior citizens in nursing homes in our area, spreading kindness and connection to members of their community. Beyond the National Junior Honor Society, these students balance rigorous academic schedules that include high school level coursework while also participating in athletics, theater, music, scouting, peer membership, and church organizations. Many will go on to attend specialty centers and advanced academic programs at the high school level. The chapter also practices leadership within its own organization, electing student officers who guide the work of the group. Their president, vice president, secretary, and historian are all here today with their chapter. Mr. Speaker, members of the House, please join me in giving a warm house welcome to the Elizabeth Davis Middle School National Junior Honor Society.
Welcome to the Capitol today. Delegate from Newport News, Delegate Simons.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise for the purposes of an introduction.
The delegate has the floor.
In the gallery today, we have the Peninsula Chinese American Association. If they could please stand. PCAA was founded over 40 years ago as a nonprofit organization dedicated to educational and cultural purposes. In addition to its charitable work, PCAA also oversees a Chinese language school in Newport News and awards annual scholarships to local high school seniors for their academic achievements and community service. And I'm very proud to have had a number of interns from their organization. I hope we can give them a warm house welcome.
Welcome to the Capitol today. Pursuant to House Rule 30, the journal shall reflect that the following members are away on pressing personal business on a granted leave from today's session. Delegate Cohen. The clerk will announce the next order of business.
Second portion of the morning hour reserved for the announcement of member request to move legislation from an uncontested to a regular calendar. There is one. That first category of today's calendar, Senate Bills 3rd, uncontested. Senator Jones's SB 221 has been requested out of the block over to the regular calendar by Delegate Tran.
Clerk shall announce the next order of business.
The third portion of the morning hour reserved for member request for legislation to go by for the day, and if such, the motion to effectuate that by the majority leader. There are three. That same bill, Senate Bill 221 on page 2, Senator Jones's 221, that not only is over to the regular, but it's also by for the day. And then in the category of third regular, On page 6 of the printed calendar following that way, Senator Durant's and Senator Stanley's SB 602 and 764 respectively vie for the day at the request of Delegate Tran.
Delegate from Alexandria, Delegate Herring.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the legislation as announced by the clerk go by for the day.
Delegate from Alexandria, Delegate Herring, moves that the legislation as announced by the clerk go by for the day. As many in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The motion is agreed to. The clerk shall announce the next order.
And the fourth and final portion of the morning hour on this Friday is reserved for member requests for points of personal privilege. Kindly use your request to speak button to get into the queue.
Delegate from Prince William, Delegate Franklin.
Good morning. Mr. Speaker, I rise for a point of personal privilege.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. During Women's History Month, I rise to recognize the generations of remarkable women who built the foundation of Stafford and Prince William counties I am honored to represent here in the House of Delegates today. Long before Virginia was a state, a Piscataway woman named Mary Catamaquan maintained diplomatic relations between native tribes and English settlers. In the colonial era, when society believed that women had little value outside their homes, Lacia Corbin Lee inherited thousands of acres of land in Prince William County. Her land became Lisa Vane State Park, a central component of the community to this day. And in Stafford County, Mary Lee Custis fought against slavery, even when discouraged from speaking publicly, especially as a white woman speaking out against their family and friends in the pursuit of racial justice. Born enslaved, Jenny Dean raised funds and established the Manassas Industrial School for colored youth in Prince William County. Through determination and faith, she created educational opportunities for generations of black students who were turned away from the fundamental right to education everywhere. And Kate Waller Barrett from Stafford County was one of the Commonwealth's first female physicians. She helped establish and run the National Florence Crittenden Mission, where she dedicated her life to treating and empowering women facing poverty, exploitation, and injustice. Mr. Speaker, these 5 women lived in different centuries, came from different circumstances, and faced different challenges, but they all shared something in common. They used their courage, their compassion, and their determination to build stronger communities and a stronger Commonwealth for generations to come. Mr. Speaker, in Stafford and Prince William counties, women have been leading the way with bravery for centuries. So have women in each and every one of the communities represented here in this chamber. This Women's History Month, let's recognize more than the big names. Let's celebrate the women who have made their districts homes. Let's honor the women heroes in our very own neighborhoods. And let's remember the women who have put in the work to shape the future of our communities here throughout the Commonwealth. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Delegate from Patrick County, Delegate Williams.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker.
Good morning.
How you doing?
I don't recognize you without the wig.
I know. It's in the... Mr. Speaker, I rise for a point of personal privilege.
The delegate has the floor.
In honor of the first day of early voting on the redistricting amendment, I'd like to read some quotes into the record. Democrat Governor Abigail Spanberger in 2019, quote, "Gerrymandering is detrimental to our democracy and it weakens the individual voices that form our electorates. Opposing gerrymandering should be a bipartisan priority." Democrat Governor Spanberger while running for governor, quote, "Short answer is no. I have no plans to redistrict Virginia," end quote. Democrat Senator Louise Lucas, 2020. "This package fully encompasses the kind of reform Virginians have wanted for a long time, an equitable, transparent, and bipartisan process to ensure our electoral maps are drawn fairly." Democrat Congressman Don Beyer, 2020. "Gerrymandering is cheating. It allows politicians to select their voters when it should be the other way around." Democrat Congressman Jennifer McClellan, 2020. "Virginia deserves a redistricting process that produces fair maps and ends partisan, racial, and prison gerrymandering." Former Senator, Democrat Majority Leader Dick Saslaw, 2020. He called arguments against the Independent Redistricting Commission pure bull. Former President Barack Obama, State of the Union address. "We have to end the practice of drawing our congressional districts so that politicians can pick their voters. and not the other way around. Let a bipartisan group do it. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
You miss me. The delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Simon.
Mr. Speaker, I rise for a point of personal privilege.
The delegate has the floor.
Mr. Speaker, members of the House, let me begin by saying something here. The death of Stephanie Mentor was a tragedy, a terrible tragedy. And I think what makes it even more tragic is that it was the result of systemic failures. But let's be clear, Mr. Speaker. Let's be clear about whose failures those were. This was an epic failure on the part of ICE. All right? Mr. Speaker, we had some conversation today in the Public Safety Committee, and I think that there is a little bit of a misunderstanding, perhaps, by my friends on the other side of the aisle about how ICE detainers work and how things happen. But the individual who's responsible for this crime was in Fairfax County's custody overnight at least 8 times. This is the 9th time this individual has been in Fairfax County's custody since 2018. Only once did ICE send a detainer for this person's arrest, and the person was, ICE went ahead and took them into custody in 2018. Now remember who was president in 2018, right? This was Donald Trump's ICE, took them into custody. For whatever reason, there was an order of removal that was issued, but this individual was never removed. ICE and the Department of Homeland Security didn't follow up on that. And as a result, this person returned to Fairfax County Jail another 7 times, right? And we heard the litany of times and the charges. And let me tell you something, Mr. Speaker. ICE knew about it every single time. Every single time they were booked, they were fingerprinted, their information on what crime they committed, what they'd done, where they were, was entered into the NICS system, the national database that alerts ICE officers when somebody that's on their list, somebody who has a removal order, is in custody. They know about it. 4 times, Mr. Speaker, in 2025. All right? So let's think about who was president in 2025. Let's think about who was governor in 2025. 4 times in 2025 alone. In March, in July, in November, and in December of 2025, this person was in custody overnight. Fairfax County was waiting for a detainer to come down. They entered the information. Virginia law enforcement officers did their job. They said, we've got this person. We know you want them. Here he is. Come get your guy. And no detainer came down, Mr. Speaker. So we've got to suggest that this is somehow a lack of cooperation, that somehow we're hiding the ball, that somehow somebody in Fairfax County doesn't want the feds to know where this person is. That couldn't be further from the truth. In Fairfax, we did what we were supposed to do. In fact, with all the publicity about this, the only thing I've heard from DHS so far is a social media post saying, don't let this guy out. I called the sheriff this morning and said, hey, all the publicity, all that we've heard about this, have you received a detainer from ICE yet? The answer is only an informal detainer, Mr. Speaker. Haven't even received a detainer yet. And Mr. Speaker, again, you know, it is a tragic thing what happened to Stephanie Mentor, and I appreciate the outrage, and I'm frustrated, and I'm angry about it, and I think it's disgusting as well. But I have to tell you, what's a little bit disgusting is the glee, I think, that some of my folks on the other side seem to take in being able to talk about this and try and put the blame on Democrats. Mr. Speaker, there's another headline this morning, which I haven't heard anybody on the other side talk about or tweet about or share on their social media. Mr. Speaker, a January 6th rioter who was pardoned by President Trump was sentenced yesterday for child sex crimes, including child molestation. We don't hear anything about that. Mr. Speaker, this is one of 33 people. So from the party of law and order, from the party of no second chances, from the party of lock them up and throw away the key, we pardoned all of these January 6 rioters without any thought, without any consideration of whether they have a criminal record, to how dangerous they might be, the fact that they might commit crimes when they go back out in their community. And it continues to happen, and we hear nothing about it. Mr. Speaker, members of the House, I take my job as the chair of public safety very seriously. And we all want for Virginia to be the safest state and have the safest communities in the country. And I think we do a very good job of that. Mr. Speaker, we need the federal government, we need ICE to focus on what they promised us they were going to focus on. They said we're going to focus on getting rid of the worst of the worst. We're going to go after the criminals, the violent criminals. Well, here it is. We've told them 5 times, 6 times, 8 times, here's your violent criminal. Just do your basic core function of your job. Just look at those NICS alerts when they come across your desk. Go get those folks out of jail. Take them into custody, deport them if you need to. Nobody wants to stop that. Nothing in any of the bills that you're going to see pass this legislature interfere with that process for violent criminals. Right? There are carve-outs. There's nothing that will interfere with that process. Mr. Speaker, I would hope that if anybody at DHS is listening, I'm telling you, and I know that there's been some turnover there recently. I know that there's that. But I got to tell you, if anybody there is running that show and is listening now, we've got your guy. Come get him. We're happy to turn him over. We don't want folks like that in Virginia. Let's do our jobs, Mr. Speaker. Let's keep Virginia the safest place in the Commonwealth. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Delegate from Scott County, Delegate Kilgore.
Yeah, I've always heard in politics if you're explaining...
Rise for point of personal privilege?
Yeah, point of personal privilege. Okay. Always heard in politics if you're
Just get up and start yakking, huh? Okay.
Yeah, I already started. I'm so excited, Mr. Speaker.
I know.
Yeah. If you're explaining, you're losing. That's what we've always heard in politics. And for this party to sit there and talk about, hey, ICE is not doing their job, you've put forth all kinds of bills this year to prohibit ICE from doing its job, prohibit ICE from going to the courthouses, prohibit ICE from going to these places where they can pick up these violent felons. But the one name that I did not hear, I know you talked to the sheriff, but did you talk to the Commonwealth attorney? The Commonwealth attorney who's letting everybody out and making Fairfax County an unsafe locality. That's who we need to be talking about, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
The delegate from James City County, Delegate Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise for a point of personal privilege.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As the delegate from Patrick County pointed out, in honor of today's redistricting referendum, I just wanted to say a few quotes from my colleagues on the right who have condemned the redistricting maps that are very much unconstitutional and disenfranchising millions of voters across this country by our president. I'm sorry, there aren't any. So with that, thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Delegate from Patrick County again.
Hey, Mr. Speaker. How you doing? It's Delegate from Patrick County.
Delegate has the floor. Why do you rise?
Point of personal privilege.
The delegate has the floor.
My name was invoked on the House floor, so I feel like I should get up and stand and say something, but I have no idea what she just said or her point, so I'm going to say thank you, Mr. Speaker, and sit down.
One more week, y'all. One more week. One more week. The delegate from Newport News, Delegate Price.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I rise for a quick point of personal privilege.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm not sure if it's the absence of the wig, but as we've seen from our friend, he loves to live in history, and that is where all of his quotes came from. The one quote he did forget to say was, "Find me 5 seats." And that's the quote that our president has given since all of the other quotes that he listed. And so I will offer another quote here today, first day of early voting. Vote yes, fight back. Quote me on it.
The delegate from Buckingham, Delegate Garrett.
I rise for a point of personal privilege.
The delegate has the floor.
I'd just like to direct the delegate from James City County to my speech from January of 2026, where I excoriated states for doing things, states like Illinois, Connecticut, New York, Massachusetts, wherein they gerrymandered, wherein I stated the reality that the Texas redistricting is a little bit more complicated than how y'all like to paint it, given that there was judiciary involvement, and where I said in Virginia, maybe we should act a little bit more like those brave Republicans in Indiana who said no to gerrymandering, or the brave Republicans in this very chamber 12 or 15 years ago when Speaker Bill Howell said no to Republican gerrymandering from the state Senate. So I don't know if she was away on a point of pressing personal need or what that day, but I just wanted to respond with, I've been saying it. It's got a whole bunch of views on social media, which is apparently a metric that's important to some people, and I can send it to her if she'd like. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Clerk will call a calendar.
Calendar for today, Friday, March 6, 2026, for the Virginia House of Delegates, approximately 60 plus bills to deal with today. We begin on page 1 of the printed calendar. Senate bills on third reading uncontested calendar. I think there are 9 bills in this uncontested calendar block, beginning with Senate Bill 125, which seeks to amend and reenact sections of the Code of Virginia relating to the Office of the Children's Ombudsman, powers and duties, report recommendations of the Legislation Report Committee on General Laws.
Delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Kreisig.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Senate Bill 125 makes a number of changes to the Office of the Children's Ombudsman. The bill expands the office's access to certain records and reports and allows the office to report certain complaints to the Office of the Inspector General. This bill keeps the Commonwealth up to date as how the office can properly report findings and recommendations related to failures by state agencies to protect children. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill pass.
Continuing with the uncontested calendar block, Senate Bill 221 is by for the day. Therefore, next up in the uncontested block is Senate Bill 240. It is legislation to amend and reenact 2 sections of the Code of Virginia relating to retail franchise agreements, governing law, competition restrictions. Legislation Report Committee on Labor and Commerce with amendment nature substitute.
The delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Helmer.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Senate Bill 240 is the cognate of my House Bill 69. The bill provides for non-competes in retail franchise agreements. I move the committee substitute.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The committee substitute is agreed to.
I move
the delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Helmer.
Mr. Speaker, I move passage of the bill.
Next up in the block is Senate Bill 402, legislation to amend and reenact sections of the Code of Virginia, all related to residential property owners, insurance policies, roofing services by contractors, prohibited practices, and consumer protection. Legislation Report Committee on Labor and Commerce with amendment nature substitute.
Delegate from Prince William, Delegate Maldonado.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, SB 402 is identical to my House Bill HB 677 with the committee amendment, committee substitute, and it clarifies that insurers may not take adverse underwriting actions based solely on a roof's age, strengthens standards for evaluating roof conditions, and aligns the roof and contractor consumer protection provisions with the House Bill. Mr. Chair, I move passage of the bill. I move that we adopt the committee substitute.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The committee substitute is agreed to.
Continuing with the block, top of page 3 of the printed calendar, we come to Senate Bill 426, legislation to amend and reenact sections of the Code of Virginia relating to alteration of suspension system and bumper heights, proof of compliance. Legislation Report Committee on Transportation.
Delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Delaney.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Senate Bill 426 allows a court to dismiss a summons for offenses related to altering the suspension system or bumper heights of vehicles when proof of compliance is provided to the court on or before the court date. I hope it is the will of the body. I move to pass the legislation.
Next up in the block, Senate Bill 565 seeks to amend portion of the Acts of Assembly of 2025 relating to the Virginia Contractor Transaction Recovery Fund, claims limits, license thresholds, amounts. Legislation Report Committee on General Laws with an amendment.
Delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Kreisig.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the House adopt the General Laws Amendment.
Shall the committee amendment be agreed to? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The committee amendment is agreed to. Delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Kreisig.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Senate Bill 565 expands the scopes of Chapter 127 and 133 of the Acts of Assembly of 2025, which increase certain claim limits and license threshold amounts to apply to any claimant who filed a verified claim with the Director of the Department of Professional and Occupational Regulation on or after June 6, 2024, for recovery from the Virginia Contractor Transaction Recovery Fund, and whose claim was thereafter approved by the Board of Contractors. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill pass.
Next up, page 4, Senate Bill 575 is legislation to amend and reenact Section Code of Virginia relating to the Virginia Public Procurement Act, joint and cooperative procurement, construction exception. Legislation again, reporting committee on general laws.
Delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Kreisig.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Senate Bill 575 excludes certain intergovernmental support agreements pursuant to federal law from provisions of the law under the Virginia Public Procurement Act. This bill will promote greater transparency and fairness in public construction contracting and prevent potential misuse of cooperative procurement processes for large public construction projects. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill pass.
Continuing with the block, Senate Bill 598 now before you is legislation to amend and reenact Section Code of Virginia relating to electric utilities, renewable energy portfolio standards, zero carbon electricity, accelerated clean energy buyers. This legislation was reported from the Committee on Labor and Commerce with an amendment nature substitute.
Delegate from Loudoun County, Delegate Reed.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I move the committee substitute.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The committee substitute is agreed to. The delegate from Loudoun County, Delegate Reed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Senate Bill 598 is now the cognate for my House Bill 369. It adds nuclear and fusion to the Clean Energy Buyers Program. My version of this legislation passed 95-4, and I move passage of the bill.
Senate Bill 613 now before you seeks to amend and reenact portions of the Code of Virginia relating to professions and occupations, regulation of real estate brokers, salespersons, and rental location agents, other powers and duties of the Real Estate Board, licensure, criminal history certification. All this was reported for the Committee on General Laws with amendment nature substitute.
The delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Sebo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move the committee substitute.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The committee substitute is agreed to. The delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Sebo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. SB 613 with the substitute directs DPOR to conduct a comprehensive review of the Commonwealth's current process for obtaining licensure as a real estate person. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill pass.
And the last bill rounding out Senate Bill's third reading uncontested calendar is Senate Bill 686, which seeks to amend and reenact sections of the Code of Virginia relating to holding a handheld personal communications device while driving, driver improvement clinic. Legislative Report Committee on Transportation.
Delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Delaney.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Senate Bill 686 simply allows a court to order for a first violation of texting while driving the satisfactory completion of a driver improvement clinic in lieu of a conviction. I move passage of the bill.
Shall the bills pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 97, no 0.
Ayes 97, no 0. The bills pass.
Continuing with today's calendar, page 5 of the printed version, if you're following that way, we come to the category Senate bills on third reading, regular, 10-plus bills in this category, beginning with Senate Bill 386, which is legislation to amend and reenact sections of the Code of Virginia related to owners of sewage treatment works, land application, marketing, or distribution of sewage sludge, perfluoroalkyl or polyfluoroalkyl substances, texting requirements. Legislation Report Committee on Agriculture, Chesapeake, and Natural Resources with an amendment nature substitute. And the chairman of ACNR, Delegate Lopez, has floor amendments that are available to members via iHod and available to the public on the Legislative Information System.
Delegate from Arlington, Delegate Lopez.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to move the committee substitute.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The committee substitute is agreed to. The delegate from Arlington, Delegate Lopez.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The amendments that were mentioned by the clerk are fairly simple. They'd simply take out reference to fish and shellfish when the DEQ PFAS Expert Advisory Committee develops recommendations for the PFAS sampling process. I'd like to take those amendments in a block.
They'll be considered a block. There's 3 of them that are available, and they're now before you.
Thank you, Mr.
You
Speaker.
move the floor amendment?
I'd like to move the floor amendments.
Shall the floor amendments be agreed to? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The floor amendments are agreed to. The delegate from Arlington, Delegate Lopez.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This bill would simply require sewage distributors to collect regular samples for PFAS analysis for DEQ and would help Virginia monitor and reduce the impacts of PFAS in our land, water, and food supply. It's been negotiated with industry, the wastewater industry, administration, and the environmental community for several months now. Very proud of the process, and I move that we pass the bill.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 86, noes 12.
Ayes 86, noes 12. The bill passes.
Over on page 6, Senate Bill 602 and 764. Both of those bills are by for the day. Therefore, the next bill in this category is Senate Bill 128, which seeks to amend and reenact Section of the Code of Virginia relating to covenants not to compete, healthcare professionals, civil penalty. Legislation Report Committee on Labor and Commerce.
Delegate from Alexandria, Delegate Herring.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. SB 128 is a cognate to my House Bill 627 regarding covenants not to compete for healthcare professionals. The bill adds that healthcare professionals to the definition for whom covenants not to compete shall apply. It does have protections for employers, and the bill will not apply retrospectively. I move that the bill pass.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 92, no 6.
Ayes 92, no 6. The bill passes.
Senate Bill 258 now before you seeks to amend and reenact multiple sections of the Code of Virginia, all related to the Virginia Human Rights Act, menopause or perimenopause discrimination prohibited. Legislation Report Committee on General Laws with amendment nature of substitute.
Delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Creasy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that the House adopt the general law substitute.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The committee substitute is agreed to. Delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Creasy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The substitute combines provisions of Senate Bill 258 with the provisions of House Bill 1173 Delegate Trans Bill so that now both bills are identical. It amends the Virginia Human Rights Act, prohibits discrimination under the Virginia Human Rights Act on the basis of menopause or perimenopause for the purpose of non-discrimination in governmental programs. This bill will ensure individuals experiencing menopause or perimenopause are protected from discrimination in the workplace and other settings. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill pass.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk, close the roll.
Ayes 63, noes 35.
Ayes 63, noes 35. The bill passes.
Senate Bill 294 now before you seeks to amend and reenact 3 sections of the Code of Virginia relating to the Virginia Residential Landlord and Tenant Act, tenant records, sub-metering, energy allocation, and ratio utility billing systems. Legislation for Committee on General Laws with an amendment in the nature of a substitute.
Delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Creasy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that the House adopt the general law substitute.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. Committee substitute is agreed to. The delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Creasy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Now the substitute for this bill conforms Senate Bill 294 to House Bill 1361, Delegate Maldonado's bill, which passes House 79 to 18. This bill provides that no landlord shall file or maintain an action for unlawful detainer against a tenant unless such a landlord has provided the tenant with a proper and effective notice of termination. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill pass.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 75, noes 23.
Ayes 75, noes 23. The bill passes.
Over on page 8 of today's calendar, Senate Bill's third reading regular, we come to Senate Bill 433, which seeks to amend and reenact sections of the Code of Virginia relating to unemployment insurance benefit eligibility conditions, lockout exception to labor dispute disqualification. Legislative Report Committee on Labor and Commerce.
Delegate from Arlington, Delegate Lopez.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. SB 433 from Senator Bagby amends the Virginia Unemployment Compensation Act's labor dispute disqualification provision to provide that a lockout by an employer shall not constitute a labor dispute and that locked out employees who are otherwise eligible for benefits shall receive such benefits. I move we pass the bill.
Shall the bill pass? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 64, noes 34.
Ayes 64, noes 34. The bill passes.
Senate Bill 543 now before you seeks to amend and reenact various sections of the Code of Virginia relating to marijuana and hemp products enforcement. Legislation Report Committee on General Laws with an amendment.
Delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Creasy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that the House adopt the general laws amendment.
Shall the committee amendment be agreed to? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The committee amendment is agreed to. The delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Creasy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Senate Bill 543 now amends various provisions of the enforcement and penalties related to illegal sale of marijuana by people licensed by the Virginia Department of Ag and Consumer Services, ABC, and the CCA. This bill will improve state oversight of marijuana and hemp product sales and address the growth of illicit or unlicensed cannabis retail operations. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill pass.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 66, noes 32.
Ayes 66, noes 32. The bill passes.
Top of page 9, we come to Senate Bill 574, which seeks to amend and reenact section of the Code of Virginia relating to the Department of Professional and Occupational Regulation, Auctioneers Board, citizen members, Legislation Report Committee on General Laws.
Delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Creasy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Senate Bill 574 clarifies that citizen members appointed to the Auctioneers Board would not be financially affiliated, licensed in, or employed in an industry that offers a potential conflict of interest. This bill would not change the responsibilities and duties of the Board of Auctioneers. It would merely seek to avoid a potential conflict of interest in future appointments. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill pass.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 91, noes 6.
Ayes 91, noes 6. The bill passes.
Senate Bill 637 now before you seeks to amend and reenact two sections of the Code of Virginia relating to Virginia Human Rights Act, definition of employer. Legislation Report Committee on Labor and Commerce with an amendment nature substitute.
Delegate from Arlington, Delegate Lopez.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to move the committee substitute.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The committee substitute is agreed to. Delegate from Arlington, Delegate Lopez.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. SB 637 from former Senator Eben and with the great help of Senator Boysko provides that the statute of limitations for non-discrimination in employment in places of public accommodation under the Virginia Human Rights Act shall be 2 years. It also amends the definition of employer from 15 to 5 number for employees. It also, under the current law, employer also includes a person employing one or more domestic workers. I move that we pass the bill.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 62, noes 35.
Ayes 62, noes 35. The bill passes.
Senate Bill 650 now before you seeks to amend and reenact 2 sections of the Code of Virginia relating to public utilities, water and sewage companies, discounted rates for low-income customers. Legislation again, report to Committee on Labor and Commerce with an amendment nature substitute.
Delegate from Arlington. Delegate from Hampton, Delegate Ward.
Senate Bill 650 on page 9 is legislation relating to public utilities, water and sewage companies, discounted rates for low-income customers. And there is a substitute.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I move the substitute.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The committee substitute is agreed to.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the substitute conforms to House Bill 770, which passes House 64 to 33. And, Mr. Speaker, I move passage of this bill.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk, close the roll.
Ayes 63, noes 34, abstentions 1.
Ayes 63, noes 34, abstentions 1. The bill passes.
And over on page 10, last bill in this Senate Bill's third reading regular calendar is Senate Bill 827, which seeks to amend and reenact 2 sections of the Code of Virginia relating to pilot program for underground transmission lines, qualifying projects, levy and a report. Legislation Report Committee on Labor and Commerce with an amendment nature substitute.
Delegate from Loudoun County, Delegate Singh.
Mr. Speaker, I move the substitute.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The committee substitute is agreed to. The delegate from Loudoun County, Delegate Singh.
Mr. Speaker, this bill is now identical to my 1487. It provides a pilot program to bury underground transition lines. I think we ought to go to conference. Therefore, I move passage.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk, close the roll.
Ayes 62, noes 36.
Ayes 62, noes 36. The bill passes.
Continuing with today's calendar, we move to a new category, House bills with Senate amendments, 40-ish bills in this new category, spread across pages 10 through 24 if you're following along that way. So we come first up in this category is House Bill 5, which relates to employment, paid sick leave, civil penalties. Legislation originally passed the House, passed the Senate with a substitute, which is now before you.
Delegate from Virginia Beach, Delegate Converse Fowler.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, with the recommendation that it be rejected, I move the Senate substitute, and I request to speak briefly to that motion.
The delegate has the floor.
Mr. Speaker, HB 5, as it left the Senate, removes key provisions aiming to protect workers across multiple industries, including many people employed by the Commonwealth. Mr. Speaker, I would like to renew my motion to adopt the Senate substitute and ask that we reject it.
Shall the Senate substitute be adopted? Clerk will close the roll.
Excuse me. Ayes 3, noes 95.
Ayes 3, noes 95. The Senate substitute is rejected.
Now we come to House Bill 17, which relates to fines, costs, forfeiture, penalties, and restitution, collection fees, assessment against incarcerated defendant, deferred payment agreement. Legislation originally passed the House, passed the Senate with a substitute, which is now before you.
Delegate from Newport News, Delegate Price.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In the Senate, they created a substitute of 3 different bills that combines House Bill 17, which passed the House 66 to 32, House Bill 268, which passed the House 91 to 7, and House Bill 1142, which passed the House 96 to 0. Now, as substituted, the bill puts collection fees proceeds on the same timeline as interest, extends the timeline for delinquent debt to be sent to collections from 90 days to 180 days after sentencing on the charge or release from incarceration, whichever is later, and reduces the statute of limitations for the collection of criminal court debt from 60 years in circuit court and 30 years in general district court to 10 years from either court. I move that we would accept the Senate substitute.
Shall the Senate substitute be adopted? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 64, noes, ayes 65, noes 33.
Ayes 65, noes 33. The Senate substitute is adopted.
House Bill 61 now before you relates to the Department of Small Business and Supplier Diversity Small SWAM Business Procurement Enhancement Program established. Legislation originally passed the House. House passed that with the substitute, which is now before you.
Delegate from Hampton, Delegate Ward.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this bill is the codification of Governor Northam's Executive Order 35. It passes House 64 to 33, but when it went to the Senate, it was noted or recognized that the definition of a micro-business was inadvertently left out during the drafting. And this amendment simply returns the definition of a micro-business and adds a set-aside. Mr. Speaker, I move that the House agree to the Senate amendment and vote yes.
Shall the Senate substitute be adopted? Clerk, close the roll.
Ayes 62, noes 36.
Ayes 62, noes 36. The Senate substitute is adopted.
House Bill 177 now before you relates to the fee for passing bad checks to localities, payment order not paid by recipient. Legislation originally passed the House. House passed the Senate with amendments, and the Senate amendments are now before you.
Delegate from Norfolk, Delegate Anthony.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move the Senate amendment.
Shall the Senate amendment be agreed to? All those in favor say aye.
This is passage.
Speaking to that amendment.
Yeah.
Delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Senate amendment is additional amendments from the Treasurers Association of Virginia that clarifies that electronic payment orders are covered and provides a limited safe harbor so that a taxpayer is not charged a fee for a first-time electronic payment that fails due to a non-matching account number within a 12-month period. This ensures we modernize the statute while protecting taxpayers from being penalized from a simple one-time keying error. Mr. Speaker, I move that the House agree to the Senate amendment and vote yes.
Shall the Senate amendment be adopted? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 94, noes 2.
Ayes 94, noes 2. The Senate amendment is adopted.
Over on page 12, we come to House Bill 184, which would direct the State Corporation Commission's Bureau of Insurance to evaluate the all-payer claims database report. Legislation originally passed the House. Has passed the Senate with the substitute, which is before you.
Delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Helmer.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm going to move the Senate substitute and speaking briefly to that motion.
Delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The underlying bill is exactly as the clerk described, with the SEC BOI evaluating the all-player claims database. The Senate substitute, at the request of stakeholders, simply moves the leadership of this task force over to VHI. It's a good, it's a good amendment, and with that, I would move the Senate substitute for passage.
Shall the Senate substitute be adopted? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 98, no 0.
Ayes 98, no 0. The Senate substitute is adopted.
We come now to House Bill 218, which relates to casino gaming, consideration of service permit applications. Legislation passed the House, substitute passed the Senate with substitute, which is now before you.
Delegate from Richmond City, Delegate McQueen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move the House agree to the Senate amendments and speak to that.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the substitute just makes basically technical changes. It enhances the bill, adding a 30 business day timeline. It provides a written narrative and character reference, and then it asks for a reasonable and recent frame of time for that to be looked upon. I move that we agree to the Senate amendments. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Shall the Senate substitute be adopted? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 95, noes 2.
Ayes 95, noes 2. The Senate substitute is adopted.
House Bill 256, now before you, relates to Comprehensive Plan Environmental Justice Strategy. Legislation originally passed the House, has passed the Senate with substitute. The Senate substitutes now before you.
That from Newport News, Delegate Simons.
Mr. Speaker, HB 256 requires localities above certain populations to consider adopting an environmental justice strategy in their comprehensive plan. The Senate substitute establishes a measurement of baseline environment and health data in order to characterize disproportionate environmental conditions. Mr. Speaker, I move that the House agree to the Senate amendments and ask that the members vote yes. Oh, Senate substitute.
Shall the Senate substitute be adopted? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 63, noes 35.
Ayes 63, noes 35. The Senate substitute is adopted.
Top of page 13, we come to House Bill 309, which relates to temporary detention in hospital for testing, observation, or treatment. Legislation originally passed the House, has passed the Senate with amendments, and the Senate amendments are now before you.
That from Arlington, Delegate Hope.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm going to ask the body to accept the Senate amendments, just to remind the body that this is a bill when someone presents themselves with meeting criteria for a danger to themselves or others, they can go before a judge and get a TDO. But what happens when someone goes to the emergency room and they need to see that time between entering the emergency room and going before a magistrate or a judge to get a TDO? This bill just covers that period of time in between in custody. The Senate amendments just make technical changes. Again, I move that the body accept the Senate amendments.
Shall the Senate amendment be adopted? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 97, noes 0.
Ayes 97, noes 0. The Senate amendment is adopted.
Over on page 14, we come to House Bill 331, which relates to payment of costs when proceedings deferred. Legislation originally passed the House, has passed the Senate with an amendment. That Senate amendment's before you.
Doug from Arlington, Delegate McClure.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as a reminder, HB 331 makes clear that when a person has successfully completed all terms and conditions set by the court for a deferred disposition, that the court cannot enter a conviction solely based off the fact that they have not paid all of their outstanding court costs. The Senate amendments for HB 331 simply clarifies that the courts may use any lawful method to ensure court fees are collected from the defendants who still have outstanding balances. Mr. Speaker, I move that the House agree to the Senate amendments and ask that the body vote yes.
Shall the Senate amendment be adopted? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 65, noes 31.
Ayes 65, noes 31. The Senate amendment is adopted.
Now we come to House Bill 433, which relates to newborn screening, evaluation of disorders for inclusion. Legislation passed the House, passed the Senate with a substitute, and that Senate substitute is before you.
Delegate from Henrico, Delegate LaVere Bowling.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to move that the House agree to the Senate substitute and then that we would reject that motion. And speaking to the substitute, Mr. Speaker.
Doug has the floor.
The Senate substitute sought to conform HB 433 to SB 374, which now makes it harder for Virginia to develop a streamlined process for adding conditions to our newborn screening process. The initial intention of the bill was to address the gap that the Federal Secretary of HHS did with disbanding the advisory committee that would normally recommend the conditions that states would add to their newborn screening program. So I would like to go to conference on this. So again, I would renew and ask that the House vote to reject the Senate amendments. Thank you.
Shall the Senate substitute be adopted? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 3, noes 94.
Ayes 3, noes 94. Senate substitute is rejected.
House Bill 443 is legislation that relates to a maximum number of judges in each judicial district and circuit. Legislation originally passed the House, has passed the Senate with substitutes. Senate substitutes before you.
Delegate from Arlington, Delegate Hope.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members of the body, I'm going to move that we to accept the substitute Senate substitute and ask that the body reject it. We want the House position to prevail to make sure that all of our judges will be funded, and I got great assurances from the chair of the Appropriations Committee that we're going to make that happen. So we got to fight for the House position and reject the Senate substitute. Vote red.
Shall the Senate substitute be adopted? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 1, noes 96.
Ayes 1, noes 96. The Senate substitute is rejected.
Over on page 14, we now come to House Bill 446, which relates to Virginia Passenger Rail Authority, eminent domain. Legislation passed the House, passed Senate with substitute. Senate substitutes before you.
Delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Simon.
Mr. Speaker, members of the House, the Senate substitute contains really just technical changes to some of the definitions to make sure what this bill does, which was to align the Passenger Rail Authority's condemnation authority with that of VDOT. Senate amendments, like I said, are technical in nature. I hope it's the pleasure of the body to adopt the Senate substitute. I move adoption of the Senate substitute.
Delegate, shall the Senate substitute be adopted? Clerk, close the roll.
Ayes 78, noes 19.
Ayes 78, noes 19. The Senate substitute is adopted.
House Bill 496 relates to zoning, commercial and industrial facilities, water use disclosures. Legislation passed the House, substitute passed Senate with substitute, which is now before you.
Delegate from Prince William, Delegate Guzman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Bill 496 authorizes localities to include in its zoning ordinance provisions disclosures of water consumption. The Senate put a substitute on this bill, and I will ask members of this House to reject the Senate substitute so we can go into conference and get a better bill. So I will ask to vote no on the Senate substitute, Mr. Speaker.
Shall the Senate substitute be adopted? Clerk, close the roll.
Ayes 0, noes 97.
Ayes 0, noes 97. The Senate substitute is rejected.
House Bill 515 now before you relates to sports betting, prohibition on use of credit cards. Legislation originally passed the House, subsequently passed Senate with amendment, and the Senate amendment to HB 515 is before you.
Delegate from Loudoun County, Delegate Martinez.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that the House agree to the Senate amendment. May I speak to it?
Delegate has the floor.
This bill originally passed the House originally passed this bill 94-3 and then passed the Senate 40-0. The amendment that the Senate added is technical in nature. I hope it is the will of the body to agree to the Senate amendment.
Shall the Senate amendment be adopted? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 93, noes 4.
Ayes 93, noes 4. The Senate amendment is adopted.
House Bill 547 now before you relates to private companies providing public transportation services, employee protections. Legislation really passed the House, so it's passed Senate with substitute, and that Senate substitute is now before you.
Delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Helmer.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm going to move adoption of the Senate substitute. And speaking briefly to the motion, I hope people say yes. The Senate substitute simply adds a task force to provide implementation guidance on this bill. The underlying bill we sent from the House simply says that if you have collective bargaining for public sector employees in the transportation sector, you can't outsource that to undermine the collectively bargained wages and work agreements. With that, I move adoption of the Senate amendments.
Shall the Senate substitute be adopted? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 62, noes 35.
Ayes 62, noes 35. The Senate substitute is adopted.
House Bill 549 relates to conservation and replacement of trees during development process. Work group report. Legislation passed the House, substitute passed Senate with a substitute, which is before you.
Delegate from Arlington, Delegate Hope.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members of the body, House Bill 549 has to do with the replacement of trees and conservation and protection of trees. I'm going to ask the body to move to reject the Senate substitute the House position is far superior, and so we'll get the bill in the conference and be in a better position. So I move the body reject the Senate substitute.
Shall the Senate substitute be adopted? Clerk, close the roll.
Ayes 0, noes 96.
Ayes 0, noes 96. The Senate substitute is rejected.
Over on page 16 of the printed calendar, House bills with Senate amendments, we come to House Bill 594, which relates to expedited approval for certain affordable housing developments. Legislation passed the House, passed Senate with substitute. That Senate substitute is before you.
Delegate from Newport News, Delegate Simons.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. HB 594 allows localities by ordinance to create an administrative expedited approval process for affordable housing developments in appropriate areas. The Senate amendments allow mixed income projects by specifying that ordinances apply to projects with at least 75% of units being affordable. Mr. Speaker, I move that the House agree to the Senate substitute, and I ask that the members vote yes.
Shall the Senate substitute be adopted? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 81, noes 15.
Ayes 81, noes 15. The Senate substitute is adopted.
House Bill 655 relates to zoning, manufactured housing. Legislation passed the House, passed the Senate with substitute, and that substitute is before you.
Delegate from Prince William, Delegate Maldonado.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as a reminder, this is another housing bill to help bring affordable housing to communities across the Commonwealth. This bill, HB 655, passed the House unanimously. The Senate substitute is a good one. It helps to provide a narrow carve-out for localities to exempt designated historic districts. Mr. Speaker, I move that the House accept the Senate substitute and vote yes.
Shall the Senate substitute be adopted? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 96, no 0.
Ayes 96, no 0. The Senate substitute is adopted.
House Bill 683 relates to solar interconnection grant program established. Report sunset. Legislation passed the House originally, subsequently passed Senate with a substitute, which is before you.
Delegate from Alexander, Delegate Herring.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The clerk described the bill and what it does. The Senate substitute simply adds a clause that says that it is established from the funds appropriated. I move the Senate substitute, and I ask the members to vote yes.
Shall the Senate substitute be adopted? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 81, noes 13.
Ayes 81, noes 13. The Senate substitute is adopted.
House Bill 693 relates to Department of Workforce Development and Advancement, Workforce Development Programs, Apprenticeship Program. Legislation passed the House, substitute passed Senate with substitute, which is before you.
Delegate from Fauquier, Delegate McAuliffe.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The substitute that the Senate sent over simply removes the provision that required the innovative internship program at SHEB to share data with the Workforce Trust. They didn't want to do that. I'm all right with it. Otherwise, the bill is identical to the version that passed the House 70-28. And so, Mr. Speaker, I move the Senate Finance Committee substitute and ask the members to vote yes.
Shall the Senate substitute be adopted? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 71, noes 26.
Ayes 71, noes 26. The Senate substitute is adopted.
House Bill 756 relates to amending death certificates, petitions to the court to amend electronic death registration system, service upon state registrar of vital records. Legislation passed the House, passed Senate with an amendment, and that Senate amendment's before you.
Delegate from Rockingham, Delegate Runyon.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move the Senate substitute and speak to the motion.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The substitute is technical in nature, removing a duplicative code number reference. This bill previously passed this body 98-0, and I move the Senate substitute be adopted.
Shall the Senate amendment be adopted? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 97, no 0.
Ayes 97, no 0. The Senate amendment is adopted.
House Bill 787 relates to zoning development agreements in certain localities. Legislation passed the House, passed Senate with an amendment, and the Senate amendment's before you.
The delegate from Chesapeake, Delegate Hayes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, House Bill 787 is the Transfer of Development Rights Bill that passed the House 97-0. The Senate amendment adjusts the population from the lower end of that number from 250,000 to 350,000 to 245,000 to 250,000. I move that the House accept the Senate amendments.
Shall the Senate amendment be adopted? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 97, no 0.
Ayes 97, no 0. The Senate amendment is adopted.
House Bill 833 relates to land subdivision and development optional provisions of a subdivision ordinance, electric vehicle charging stations, Department of Energy report. Legislation passed the House, passed the Senate with amendment, and that Senate amendment is before you.
Delegate from Arlington, Delegate McClure.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as a reminder, HB 833 would allow, not require, local governments to set minimum standards for EV charging and EV readiness in new building construction and major renovations. The Senate amendments for HB 833 do not substantively change the intent of the bill, but it would simply add to the scope of the Department of Energy evaluation required by this bill. Mr. Speaker, I move that the House agree to the Senate amendments and ask that the body vote yes.
Shall the Senate amendment be adopted? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 61, noes 35.
Ayes 61, noes 35. The Senate amendment is adopted.
Over on page 18 of the printed calendar, we come House bills with Senate amendments to House Bill 854. This is legislation that relates to real property tax, local classification, or designation for a portion of property. Legislation originally passed the House, subsequently passed it with a substitute. The Senate substitutes before you.
Delegate from Richmond City, Delegate Cousins.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. HB 854 provides a technical fix to ensure that nonprofit affordable housing providers who are financed with low-income housing tax credits are able to fully access existing tax relief measures that are provided for them in the code. The substitute makes a technical fix requested by the Commissioners of Revenue to ensure that this bill only applies to affordable housing and does not impact established ordinances. Mr. Speaker, I move that the House agree to the Senate substitute.
Shall the Senate substitute be adopted? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 90, noes 5.
Ayes 90, noes 5. The Senate substitute is adopted.
House Bill 861 is legislation that relates to reporting requirements of state, regional, and local correctional facilities, pregnant and postpartum inmates. Legislation originally passed the House, subsequently passed the Senate with amendments, and those Senate amendments are before you.
Delegate from Richmond City, Delegate Cousins.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. HB 861 requires Virginia's jails and prisons to include data related to pregnant and postpartum inmates in their existing data reporting metrics. The Senate amendments include a technical clarification from the Department of Corrections that this provision only applies to prisons that house pregnant inmates. Mr. Speaker, I move that the House agree to the Senate amendments.
Shall the Senate Senate amendments be agreed to? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 95, noes 0.
Ayes 95, noes 0. The Senate amendments are agreed to.
House Bill 862 relates to Commission on the Virginia Alcoholic Safety Action Program, VSAP. Legislation originally passed the House, subsequently passed Senate with a substitute, which is before you.
Delegate from Richmond City, Delegate Cousins.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. HB 862 is a recommendation of the Virginia Alcohol Safety Action Program Commission, or VSAP Commission. The bill consolidates the Commission's statutory authority into a single code section and codifies existing regulations. Additionally, the bill creates a stakeholder work group to review the sustainability of the structure and funding model for VSAP. The Senate substitute restructured the work group to be led by the VSAP Commission, which removes the fiscal impact. Mr. Speaker, I move that the House agree to the Senate substitute.
Shall the Senate substitute be adopted? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 97, no 0.
Ayes 97, no 0. The Senate substitute is adopted.
House Bill 867. This legislation relates to affordable housing, local zoning ordinance authority. Legislation, of course, passed the House, subsequently passed that with a substitute. That Senate substitutes before you.
Delegate from Richmond City, but a quadruple. Delegate Cousins.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. HB 867 grants all localities in the Commonwealth the option to establish inclusionary zoning programs tailored to the needs of their communities. The substitute removes the reenactment clause from the bill, but maintains the delayed enactment, allowing the bill to go into effect on July 1st, 2027. Mr. Speaker, I move that the House agree to the Senate substitute.
Shall the Senate substitute be adopted? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 65, noes 32.
Ayes 65, noes 32. Senate substitute is adopted.
Over on page 20, we come to Delegate Clark's House Bill 942, which relates to child abuse and neglect, custody and visitation, possession or consumption of authorized substances. Legislation originally passed the House, substitute passed the Senate with substitute. Senate substitutes before you.
Delegate from Suffolk, Delegate Clark.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. HB 942 is a bill that states no parent shall lose their child custody or visitation for the sole legal possession or consumption of authorized substances. The Senate put a substitution on this bill because there's a current study going on a certain part of the code section, and we didn't want to touch that until the study is complete. So I move that the House accept the Senate substitute.
Shall the Senate substitute be adopted? Clerk, close the roll.
Ayes 62, noes 34.
Ayes 62, noes 34. The Senate substitute is adopted.
House Bill 954 now before you relates to rounding procedures. Legislation originally passed the House, passed the Senate with substitute, and that substitute is awaiting your consideration.
Delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Watts.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Bill 954 deals with rounding procedures for cash transactions upon the suspension of the minting of pennies. The Senate substitute in its enactment clauses provides for the localities to have temporary procedures by ordinance over the next year, while the Department of Taxation is directed to recommend uniform procedures with all localities as far as government transactions. I move adoption of the Senate substitute and ask the members to vote yes.
Shall the Senate substitute be adopted? Clerk, close the roll.
Ayes 97, no 0.
Ayes 97, no 0. The Senate substitute is adopted.
Next up is House Bill 964, which relates to voter registration, restoration of political rights upon release from incarceration, certain adjudications. Legislation originally passed the House, substitute passed the Senate with the substitute. Senate substitutes before you.
Delegate from Newport News, Delegate Price.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, House Bill 964 is the enabling legislation. Is the enabling legislation for House Joint Resolution 2, the proposed constitutional amendment in November that would affirm a right to vote and automatically restore the voting rights of those convicted of a felony upon their physical release. The Senate substitute makes the effective date of the bill contingent on the passage of the associated constitutional amendment and aligns how the bill directs courts to handle adjudicating whether a person lacks the capacity to understand voting with House Bill 1014. I move that we would accept the Senate substitute.
Shall the Senate substitute be adopted? Clerk, close the roll.
Ayes 63, noes 33.
Ayes 63, noes 33. The Senate substitute is adopted.
House Bill 967 relates to elections. This time, the Voting Rights Act of Virginia. Legislation originally passed the House, subsequently passed the Senate with amendments. The Senate amendments to House Bill 967 are before you.
Delegate from Newport News, Delegate Price.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Bill 967 contains updates to the Voting Rights Act of Virginia, mainly strengthening voter intimidation protections, helping more Virginians with language accessibility, allowing for organizations to institute a cause of action on behalf of an affected voter, and spelling out federal VRA provisions. The Senate amendments are clarifying in nature, adding specificity for the purposes of litigation. I move that we would accept the Senate amendments.
Shall the Senate amendments be adopted? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 62, noes 35.
Ayes 62, noes 35. The Senate amendments are adopted.
Top of page 21 of the printed calendar, we come to House Bill 1014 relating to incapacitated persons, finding a lack of capacity to understand the act of voting. Legislation passed the House, passed the Senate with substitute, which is before you.
Delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Tran.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. This bill ensures that people under guardianship or conservatorship are able to keep their right to vote unless they're founded to lack the capacity to vote. It's a cognate of Senate Bill 34, which we voted on earlier this week. The Senate amendments are technical changes to align with terms used in House Bill 964, which we just voted on. I move that the House agree to the Senate substitute.
Shall the Senate substitute be adopted? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 62, noes 35.
Ayes 62, noes 35. The Senate substitute is adopted.
House Bill 1063, now before you, is legislation related to the Department of Health opioid antagonist distribution program reports. Legislation originally passed the House, subsequently passed the Senate with substitute, which is before you.
Delegate from Middlesex, Delegate Hodges.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Bill 1063 deals with the reporting by the Virginia Department of Health regarding the naloxone antagonist distribution program. The Senate substitute means the core intent of the legislation and just make some simple clarifications and some wording while still maintaining the intent of the legislation. I would hope the body would accept the Senate substitute.
Shall the Senate substitute be adopted? Clerk, close the roll.
Ayes 95, noes 1.
Ayes 95, noes 1. The Senate substitute is adopted.
House Bill 1130 relates to workforce housing for employees of a locality or school board, lease of surplus property. Legislation passed the House, passed the Senate with substitute, which is now before the body.
Delegate from Loudoun County, Delegate Reed.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Bill 1130 originally passed this body by a vote of 73 to 24, and the Senate changes occur on line 23, where we change the more general term locality to county to align with Article 7, Section 9 of the Virginia Constitution. And then on line 29, we changed it from 120% of individual area and median income to 80% of household area median income to better target low-income workforce affordable housing. I move adoption of the Senate substitute.
Shall the Senate substitute be adopted? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 71, noes 26.
Ayes 71, noes 26. The Senate substitute is adopted.
Over on page 22, we come to House Bill 1140, which relates to the use of confidential informants in drug-related investigations. Legislation passed the House, passed the Senate with amendment, and that amendment's before you.
Delegate from Colonial Heights, Delegate Cherry.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, House Bill 1140 provides guardrails to the use of confidential informants. The Senate substitute, or the Senate amendment, simply adds a reference to the code sections that define what is a confidential informant. I ask that we agree to the Senate substitute.
Shall the Senate amendment be adopted? Clerk, close the roll.
Ayes 97, noes 0.
Ayes 97, noes 0. The Senate amendment is adopted.
House Bill 1150, now before you, relates to impersonating any local town, city, or county elected official penalty. Legislation originally passed the House, subsequently passed the Senate with amendments, and the Senate amendments to House Bill 1150 are before.
Delegate from Middlesex, Delegate Hodges.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Bill 1150 deals with impersonating any local town, city, or county elected officials and the penalty associated with that. The Senate substitute simply clarifies willfulness and intent by another to believe he is such an elected official. I would ask the body to accept the Senate substitute.
Shall the Senate amendment be adopted? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 95, noes 0.
Ayes 95, noes 0. The Senate substitute is adopted.
We come now to House Bill 100. House Bill 1212, which relates to small lot residential zoning district. Legislation passed the House, passed Senate with amendments. Senate amendments are before you.
Delegate from Prince William, Delegate Sewell.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Homeownership is increasingly out of reach for many Virginians, and land costs are one of the key drivers pushing new home prices higher. House Bill 1212 allows for a moderate increase in the number of homes constructed while remaining consistent with development patterns within a locality, resulting in greater opportunities for first-time home buyers, downsizing, seniors to remain in their communities, and working families without relying on public subsidy. I move the Senate amendment.
Shall the Senate amendment be adopted? Clerk, close the roll.
Ayes 60, noes 35.
Ayes 60, noes 35. The Senate amendment is adopted.
House Bill 1221 relates to public institutions of higher education, financial aid review and consolidation, Virginia Guaranteed Assistance Program and Fund, Virginia Commonwealth Board established, work group report. Legislation originally passed the House, so passed Senate with substitutes. Senate substitutes before you.
Delegate from Prince William, Delegate Sewell.
Mr. Speaker, this bill establishes the Virginia Commonwealth Award, a consolidation of all state financial aid programs, and outlines parameters for the issuance of awards. This bill also establishes a work group to provide a comprehensive review of maximizing the efficacy and impact of state financial aid. The Senate amendment changes the makeup of the work group. Mr. Speaker, I move the Senate substitute and ask that the House rejects the substitute so that the bill language remains identical to the Senate version, which passed the House and Senate.
Shall the Senate substitute be adopted?
Thank you.
Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 3, noes 94.
Ayes 3, noes 94. The Senate substitute is rejected.
House Bill 1234 relates to land development, solar canopies in surface parking areas. Legislation originally passed the House, has passed Senate with substitute, which is before you.
Delegate from Prince William for the trifecta, Delegate Sewell.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Bill 1234 gives localities a simple, practical tool to make better use of space already being paved. The benefits are straightforward: lower costs, more in-state energy generation, shaded parking, and new clean energy jobs, all without using additional land. Mr. Speaker, the Senate substitute makes the bill identical to the language we previously passed in Senate Bill 26, which adds clarifying language regarding impervious surfaces at the request of the DEQ. I move the Senate substitute and ask the House to accept the substitute.
Shall the Senate substitute be adopted? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 67, noes 30.
Ayes 67, noes 30. Senate substitute is adopted.
Over on page 24 of the printed calendar, last two bills in this category, Senate Bill 1279 is legislation related to affordable housing, religious organizations, and other nonprofit tax-exempt property. As legislation originally passed the House, has passed Senate with a substitute, which is before you.
Delegate from Fredericksburg, Delegate Cole.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Senate amendments to this House bill conform the bill to the Senate version, which we just put into conference. So I would ask that my colleagues would reject this Senate amendment in order that we can put this bill in the same posture.
Shall the Senate substitute be adopted? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 0, noes 95.
Ayes 0, noes 95. The Senate substitute is rejected.
And lastly, House Bill 1298 in this category is legislation relating to issuance of vacator for victims of human trafficking. Legislation originally passed the House, has passed Senate with a substitute, which is now before you.
Delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Delaney.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move the Senate substitute, which will put this bill in the same posture as Senate Bill 748, patroned by Senator Locke, which we just passed a few days ago unanimously. So I will move the Senate substitute and ask that we accept it.
Shall the Senate substitute be adopted? A lot of mumbling there at the end. What you were saying. Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 97, no 0.
Ayes 97, no 0. Substitute is adopted. Delegate from Newport News, Delegate Price.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, having voted on the prevailing side by which we accepted the Senate amendments to House Bill 1212 on page 23, I would move that we reconsider that vote.
For what reason?
To help my good friend.
Having voted on the prevailing side by which we pass HB 1212, the delegate from Newport News, Delegate Price, moves that we reconsider that vote so that a member may correct their vote. Madam Clerk. Oh, all those in favor? All those opposed? Okay. Madam Clerk. Clerk, close the roll.
Ayes 61, noes 35.
Ayes 61, noes 35. The bill passed. The
Mr.
Senate
Speaker.
amendments are adopted.
Mr. Speaker.
The delegate from Roanoke, Delegate McNamara.
Mr. Speaker, parliamentary inquiry.
The delegate has the floor.
Mr. Speaker, I very well may be wrong, but my recollection was Delegate Price did not vote on that bill, so I'm not sure the reconsideration was in order. Maybe I'm mistaken.
Mr. Speaker.
The delegate from Newport News.
Yes, I would let him know that not all of us look alike. I voted. It was someone else that didn't.
The House will be at ease. Can we check 12? The delegate from Roanoke, Delegate McNamara, on that first vote, she did vote. All right, thank you. According to the clerk's recollection. Next order of business.
Mr. Speaker, next order of business on page 24. This is the category of House bills as recommendations by the governor. So this is the first time we've come to this one. Recommendations by the governor. So the bills have gone past both bodies, gone to the governor, who's now sitting back. So you get one bite at the apple. So House Bill 168 in this is the first bill in this category. Is House bills as recommendation by the governor. HB 168 is an act relating to election of certain governing bodies, conversion to single-member districts. Legislation originally passed the House on the 29th of January, subsequently passed the Senate on February 27th, went to the governor, and the governor is offering recommendations that are now before you.
Delegate from Virginia Beach, Delegate Askew.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, speaking to the governor's recommendations.
Delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the governor included the emergency clause on this general law version of the bill because the state court paused Virginia Beach's election system last year before the referendum to see how the voters would decide and how this body would ultimately respond. Now the candidate filing is open for city council and school board, and the registrar is holding those filings open until this issue is resolved. So the governor ultimately added the emergency clause simply to provide the certainty needed for this year's election process, which is already underway, and move the adoption of the governor's recommendation to ask the body to vote yes.
Shall the governor's recommendation, shall the bill be amended in accordance with the recommendation of the governor? Madam Clerk.
What do you need from this?
Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 67, noes 30.
Ayes 67, noes 30. The governor's recommendation is agreed to.
This all goes back to you now, she said. And then lastly, we come to House Bill 187, an act relating to city council voting districts. Again, the legislation originally passed the House January 30th, subsequently passed the Senate February 26th, went to the governor, who's reviewed it and is offering recommendations that are now before the body.
Delegate from Virginia Beach, Delegate Converse Fowler.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Speaking to the recommendation.
Delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The governor has simply added an emergency clause to the bill to amend the charter of the city of Virginia Beach. And as my fellow delegate has said, the candidates are already filing for the districts that are in place, and we need some certainty. So, Mr. Speaker, I move adoption of the governor's recommendation, and I urge the body to vote yes.
Shall the bill be amended in accordance with the recommendation of the governor? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 66, noes 29, abstentions 1.
Ayes 66, noes 29, abstentions 1. The governor's recommendation is agreed to.
Ms. Speaker, that completes the work there. There are bills in conference. So just for the members' reminder, if you bring a conference report up, then we're going to process it and turn it around and take it up. So Delegate Reesers, on page 26, there's a conference report that's been received for House Bill 125. House Bill 125, conference report. This is legislation relating to public elementary and secondary schools, teachers, terms of employment, reemployment of teacher who has not received continuing contract status, written notice required. So the conference report for House Bill 125 is available to the members here, to the public, and is now before the House.
Delegate from Loudoun County, Delegate Reeser.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The conference report conforms HB 125 to its Senate counterpart, SB 117. There were some small technical punctuation differences, and we wanted to make sure we didn't reverse them twice. So everything is in order now, and I move that the House adopt the conference report.
Shall the conference report be adopted? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 62, noes 34, abstentions 1.
Ayes 62, noes 31, abstentions 1. The conference report is adopted.
62, 34, 1. Yes, sir. And then a conference report has been filed by Delegate Henson, which is Senate Bill 28. Senate Bill 28. Under the Senate Bills in Conference, page 30, if you're following along that way. Senate Bill 28, this conference report relates to overtime for certain employees, domestic workers. Conference report is available to the members, to the public, and is now before the body.
Delegate from Prince William, Delegate Henson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, with this conference report dealing with overtime protections for domestic workers in conference, we worked with Senate Finance and Appropriation to address the FISC concerns. Now, the definition of domestic workers does not apply to any employee providing consumer directive related services under Title 19 and Title 21 of the Social Security Act. Mr. Speaker, I move the adoption of the report.
Shall the conference report be agreed to? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 60, noes 35, abstentions 1.
Ayes 60, noes 35, abstentions 1. The conference report is agreed to.
Mr. Speaker, that is all the work before the body on this Friday.
Per House Rule 51, the House will return to the morning hour. Does the clerk have any additional announcements or communication?
Yes, sir. Mr. Speaker, I would simply ask to remind you of the conference reports. So when you put them in, they're here. I will try to get your attention to take them up, but when they're here, you'll just need to be prepared to do them and try to give you as much advance warning as I possibly can. Mr. Speaker, announcements. I would just simply remind the body, I've already talked to you about the deadline for removing co-patrons. Monday is the deadline for all joint commending and memorial resolutions to be filed. So any of the HJ joints need to be up here by 5. Also, Monday the 9th is the last day for committee action on legislation. That's at midnight, so all the committee works will be finished on Monday. And then, just by way of reference, as you plan for the weekend or whatnot, on Tuesday, all requests for drafts, redrafts, and corrections for single House commending memorial resolutions need to be over to Legislative Services by 5 o'clock. So joints, and then you have a little window for the remaining. And on Monday, we'll take up all the commending memorial resolutions, and then we just pick them up every day thereafter for the rest of the week as we wind down towards sine die, hopefully, in my humble opinion. Mr. Speaker, today is Friday the 6th. After we adjourn, there will be a joint meeting of the House and Senate Committee for Courts of Justice. They'll be doing judicial interviews. That's immediately upon adjournment of the House, so approximately about 12. That'll be down in House Committee Room A, so both Courts of Justice committees will be doing the interviews. For Appropriations is meeting 15. Committee on Appropriations is going to meet 15 minutes upon adjournment of the House. And they'll, of course, be upstairs on the 12th floor. So those are the only two courts and probes going on this afternoon. Looking ahead to Monday, last week, beginning of the last week of session, Monday, March 9th. Communications Technology and Innovation Committee is going to be meeting at 10 o'clock in House Committee Room C on Monday. And then the two caucuses will be meeting on Monday, that will be going at noon. So the Republican caucus will be meeting at 11:15 on Monday. The Democratic caucus will be meeting at 11:15 as well. So Democrats in House Room 1, Republicans in House Room 2. Mr. Speaker, that's all the announcements that I have.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. I want to recognize, I think there are 2 birthdays in the House. Patrick Hope, happy birthday. I think he's the oldest. And gratitude, Delegate Jackie Glass. They may be younger than I am, but I look better than both of them. The delegate from Alexandria, Delegate Herring.
Mr. Speaker, I move that when the House adjourns today, it adjourn to reconvene on Monday at 12 noon.
Delegate from Alexandria, Delegate Herring moves that when the House adjourns today, to adjourn to reconvene Monday at 12 noon. Those men in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The motion is agreed to. The delegate from Alexandria, Delegate Herring.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the House do now adjourn.
Delegate from Alexandria, Delegate Herring moves that the House do now adjourn. Those men in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The motion is agreed to. The House stands adjourned until Monday at 12 noon.